Today I've got David Wright, Executive Director of Practice Development at M&O Marketing. Tell me a little bit about your company before we get started. It's recording now, so we can cut out
Yeah.
anything.
Okay. Yeah. So M&O Marketing, what we do is we're an independent marketing organization. So we're a brokerage for financial advisors that are in the independent channel. And what that means is, so you have your guys that work for like the Merrill Lynches and the Morgans of the world, the UBSs, names that everybody would know and recognize. Financial advisors who are their own sole proprietor, they're running their own practice. It'd be David Wright Financial. Those advisors have to contract with an organization like ours in order to access the different products, different money managers, different insurance carriers that exist in the market so that they can offer those products and tools to their clients.
And now, did you start the company, David? Or?
No, I wasn't the founder. I'm an employee here, technically. Executive director is my title. So really, it's my job to recruit talent, find financial advisors out there that we would want to work with. We don't want to just work with anyone. We're really looking for the best who want to get better. And so I bring them onto our firm. They start doing business with us, and then I work with them in order to develop their marketing strategies. I do some practice development coaching, anything to help them scale their business, really.
Okay. And how long has M&O Marketing been around?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We've been around for nearly 5 decades now. We're actually the longest standing IMO in the annuity space. We've been around since 1976.
Okay.
We've always been privately owned by the same family too. So we are a family-owned business here in Detroit, Michigan.
That's awesome. How did you hear about the show? What made you want to be a guest on the Success, Motivation, Inspiration show?
Yeah, so I actually heard about the show through a mutual friend. I'm a big podcast guy, so started listening to it. I thought there was a lot of good messages being shared, and I'm all about that as far as just being a medium to hopefully make an impact on someone else. If there's something in my story that resonates with them, or they pick up something from the questions that you ask me, and they can then implement that into their life. That's something that really gets me excited.
That's awesome. You've got a great personality. I know we just met here a few minutes ago on this video call, but
yeah,
you've got a good presence on screen and a good voice and everything. So you sound like you're made for podcasting.
Well, it's an honor to be a guest today. I appreciate you having me on. I know you have a lot of really successful people on your show. So, it's just be an honor to have my name thrown out there and associated with those people as well.
That's one of the really cool things about getting into the podcasting space here. I built a number of successful companies, and having these connections, whether you're a guest or a host, has been really cool to be able to just connect with folks that you typically would not have access to.
Right. And the podcast community, it's so huge. It's vast. You can find people from, all different types of industries and different backgrounds. And, there's sort of this camaraderie between everybody that's working this podcast circuit. So it's a really cool community to be a part of.
Sound like you're a real people person?
Yeah, I mean, this is a people business. It really is. At the end of the day, financial services, you're talking about life-changing decisions for people. And I certainly don't take that. I don't take that for granted in any way. So yeah, it's a people approach that really is the key. Not every marketing plan is cookie cutter or templated. Every advisor that I work with, they're all their own business owners. And so they have that entrepreneurial spirit. They really have a vision of their own. And it's my job just to help facilitate that vision. So I do a lot of practice development coaching. I do a lot of branding strategies, marketing strategies. We work with the media as well. So we're helping connect them with all these different media outlets so that they can get their message out there. It really is a very well-rounded position. I'm almost a business coach, consultant, and then also an annuity consultant. So I have to know the different products that we're offering and where they fit into the financial plan. So there's a lot of different areas that I advise on. And, many days I feel like a therapist as well, because these guys are out there, they feel like they're on an island on their own. They're their own business owner, and it can be tough when you're your own business owner going at it. So sometimes you just need a friend. You need an ear to bend from time to time and a little bit of advice. So I'm always there for that as well.
So you're a certified financial advisor yourself as well, right?
So I'm not a CFA. I am a WMS, wealth management specialist. That's the designation that I hold. I hold a life insurance license. I at one time had my Series 65, which would make me an investment advisor while I had that license. So I actually started my career working in the field as an independent financial professional. So I've been in those shoes in the past, which I think is really important. I try to stay in tune with the different shifts that happen within our industry, just so that I can say, hey, I am putting myself in your shoes, in your position. I know the daily struggles and challenges that you face and the different obstacles, and there's a multitude of them out there. So I just like to, put myself in alignment with the people that I work with. I like to look at it from their perspective and really approach it that way.
And that was basically the reason for my question, because, a lot of the times these big companies come in and, marketing firms or whatever that are trying to help solve the problem for the little guy, but they've never been in the little guy's shoes. And so they're out of touch with what the actual needs are of the client. So that's it's a good thing that you've been in that position and had the same struggles and challenges that the folks you're serving are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important.
Now, what is your personal definition of success?
Yeah, my personal definition of success. So what a great question. Everyone obviously has their own definition of what success looks like to them. To me, I've always felt that success is something that's, holistic. I'm not one of those guys who wants to, sacrifice everything in the name of success. I'm not going to sacrifice my family on the altar of success or my hobbies and interests. So to me, it's all about living a well-rounded life. You have to have the time where you say, hey, you know what, I'm shutting off my phone for a week. I'm turning off the computer and I'm going out and doing something that's just for me. You also have to have the times where you say, hey, you know what, it's in the evening, it's past this certain time of day. Maybe it's time for me to just, all the rest of the calls for tonight can wait until tomorrow. Let me spend some time with the family. So for me, it's all about, getting the best of everything that life has to offer. Why not? We're in America. That's the American dream. You can really have it all. So
yeah, absolutely. And can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say you look like a young guy, and the advice you gave about the balanced life and enjoying, having time to enjoy your family and friends and doing things other than business. Something that it took me just until a couple of years ago to learn. I worked my guts out for 20 years, 80 to 112 hours a week, and made a bunch of money and had an absolutely miserable life. Had nobody that could call as a friend. Or I wish I'd have taken your advice that you just gave now. I should have had that 20 years ago when I was getting started, realizing, hey, that money comes and goes, and enjoying life, being able to enjoy the money you're making is definitely a good part of that. So
yeah, you gotta work to live, not live to work, right? At the end of the day, I did that too. That's the lesson I learned on my own, but I also learned it just from looking at the people that surround me as well. And luckily, my boss, Dennis Brown, the owner of the company, he's the greatest family man that's ever lived. So he sets a great example there. But yeah, the first 2 years, it was really just me trying to build my business. So I did work, 60 to 80 hours a week. And, I'd get up bright and early. I'd be the first one here, last one to leave. And at the end of the day, I just recognized, my business is probably suffering because I'm not taking that time for myself.
Yep. Wise advice from a young guy.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Can you share the steps that you take daily to improve? Looks like you're on a great track right now.
Yeah, so I am a really big believer in subroutines. So that I live a very regimented lifestyle. Part of that comes from my military background too. So I always wake up early. Those mornings, that's kind of my precious time for myself. I just like to have a moment of reflection before I get into my day. So I get up early, I go work out. That's really the best time for me to get a workout into. And I think exercise is just really important as far as keeping your mental game sharp. So I go get a workout in, I come home, I write down my goals. I do that every day. And then I do a morning devotional because, I'm a man of faith. And then I really get into my day. While I'm at the gym, I'm listening to podcasts typically. So, I'll pop you in 4 a.m. in the morning. You're right there with me, working out in the morning. So I just found a diet is really important. And what I mean by diet is not just what you're eating, but what you're consuming mentally. Yeah, so I think that's really important. But all those little subroutines, just it sounds crazy to some people, but those little things really do create a greater outcome at the end of the day. And I'm not doing, there's days where I miss, just like anyone else. You're human, so you have to be able to give yourself some grace too. But the more consistent you can be with doing those things that you know are going to lend to your success, I think it's really important.
I feel like Brad Lee right now with the Dropping Bombs podcast. I want to keep dropping bombs when you're giving knowledge there. What's your advice for somebody making an important decision?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So I know you use these questions in your book, so it's awesome that I get to have some of these same questions thrown at me here. But I think when you're making an important decision, it's really all about taking a time to reflect on that decision, whether it's meditation. I do meditation. That's part of my morning routine, or praying on it if you're a man of faith, or person of faith. I think it's important to, really put that out there into the universe, whatever your higher power might be, and see what your intuition says. Just ask it like a question, what should I do here? And see what your gut kind of tells you. And then also just being prepared for either outcome on that decision. I feel like the more prepared you can be for those outcomes, the better you're going to handle it when it actually manifests into reality. So
I agree. And I think you mentioned being a man of faith and praying to whoever your higher power is. I think we've all got the same higher power, whether we know him or not. It's cool that people are trying, so many people have so many different, globally are trying to connect and figure out how to follow God and how to just be the person that they're supposed to be and kind of follow in Jesus' footsteps. So.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a major movement happening right now across the world. I think a lot of people now more than ever have, questions about, what's my purpose here? And, how can I best serve the community around me? So
you talked a lot about routines, but what's the specific moment that set you on the path that you're on now?
So there was a very specific moment. In fact, I can remember as clear as day, and it started with routines. So that's why I'm a big advocate of living somewhat of a regimented lifestyle, having different things that, different routines, different habits that are going to help you create that success. So I was hitting a brick wall. I was in my early 20s. I was doing a lot of different things, working sales jobs, going to school full time, running small businesses. I wasn't really happy with anything that I was doing, even though I had some degree of success in them. It just wasn't fulfilling or satisfying to me. So I hit a moment where I was just kind of sick and tired of, the way that I was living. And at that point in time, that's when I started to change up my spiritual diet, if you want to call it that. So I started taking a look at the things that I was listening to, the things that I was watching, the things that I was eating, what I was doing with my time. I really carefully analyzed that. And one after the other, I just started to make changes to those routines. So it started with, I think the first content creator that I really followed that seemed to resonate with me was Grant Cardone. I started watching some of his stuff, and he was talking about the different habits that successful people had. So then I just started to kind of check those boxes one after the other. Okay, they wake up early, they get a jump on their day, they're thinking about their day the night before. So I just started to implement those things into my life, and I was on a totally different career trajectory at that point. As I implemented those things, things started to work within my life. And before I knew it, I had my first opportunity in the financial services industry. And since joining, that field, my life's completely taken off. And I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I'm very passionate about what I do. They say you never work a day in your life if you do something that you love. And that's really the way that I feel. But I started those habits long before I ever took a step onto the NYSE, trading floor. I was reading a book that was about success in insurance sales. So I knew that reading was one of those big habits. So I just started picking up books that I had laying around the irony of it, I had a book on being successful in insurance long before I was ever in insurance, but it was about success. So I decided to read it.
What's one book that you would recommend to our audience if you could only recommend one book?
I would recommend Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon
Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that book. I absolutely believe in the power of your subconscious thoughts. I think that's huge. And I think you really can manifest what you want in your physical life as long as you want it bad enough and you put forth all the best efforts to get there. Somehow you'll get the outcome that you're looking for. You might not necessarily know all of the steps, but take a look at that first step and just do that. Don't look at the whole staircase. Just look at it a step at a time.
That's awesome. I think I read that book the first time when I was 13 years old. My mom used to take us to these business seminars and stuff, and grew up in a real rough household and had not a great example, of a father there. But then when we'd get to visit my mom, she'd take us to these seminars and have us reading books and stuff. And Think and Grow Rich is one of the ones that changed it for me too. Just going, I can determine what my outcome is going to be, by following the right steps and stuff. So
yeah, what a blessing that was for you. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's actually required reading for every new hire here. So I wasn't even reading that until I already had my major life-changing opportunity for me was joining McCoy marketing. But that's required reading here for every new hire. So I read that and I saw the way that the owner here is truly living that. So I said, there's something here.
And that's awesome. What character traits do you value the most?
Yeah, so loyalty, honesty, hard work. I think, those are good old-fashioned character traits that never really go out of style. They're the timeless classics. So, obviously just being in business, being transparent. And I've always found the more that you can just lay your cards on the table, the better the outcome of that business deal, whether it's even just saying, hey, you know what, there is no deal here. It's better to you never want to be underhanded in business, in my opinion. I've seen guys try to take shortcuts and, do this and that, and it never works out for them. It always comes back and bites them some way or another. So I think being honest and transparent is really important. Being loyal, someone gives you a shot, they give you an opportunity. I think you should really, give that your best efforts. Be prepared, show up, even if you're not confident, if you feel like maybe you're not quite qualified for that opportunity at the point in time, be as prepared as you can be. Showing up with that preparedness will give you the confidence that you need to carry that out. And sometimes you're going to fall on your face, but you know what? Turn that into a lesson. Big fan of failure too. I say get it out of the way as quick as possible. Fail upwards. So
that's good advice too. So many people are afraid of failing, but then you've got the other folks that say, well, just fail as many times as you can. And that advice is not meant to be fail and keep failing at the same thing without making any changes. It's fail and make progress as you're moving forward, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so important.
I know you got to get off here in just a couple of minutes, but what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you right now?
Yeah, so I'm on all the social channels. You can find me on Facebook. It's Team David at McCoy Marketing. That's M&O stands for Michigan and Ohio. So we're actually based in Detroit, Michigan. Back in '76, we started in Michigan and Ohio before becoming a national wholesaler. So just a call back to our origins there. But yeah, Team David at McCoy Marketing on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. It's Team David Mo Marketing, MO Marketing. LinkedIn, David Wright, WMS. And then you can always find us at our website at mandomarketing.com.
I'll drop those links in the bottom of your show notes as well. And you'll have a permanent page on the website, mcurtismccoy.com/David-Wright. And that'll be a page that you'll have forever. That'll have your podcast episode at the bottom and, search engine friendly, your actual written text here. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on today, Curtis. I appreciate the time.